All right, guys, so we're getting ready. All of us are gonna have to get up here and we're gonna hoist this 2-inch thick piece of acrylic. It's 4 foot by 8 foot. I'm not 100% sure how much it weighs, but it is a lot. And I did one little detail the engineer didn't call for. It is all they call for to waterproof this is embedding it 6 inches into the concrete, which is why we've got the paper peeled back 6 inches, because this part here will actually be in the concrete all the way around. But one thing I've wanted to do, I didn't do it to that big pool just because it was such a big piece and we were running short on time. We use these water stops. You guys have seen me use them in a lot of videos, I'm sure, if you've been to training. Put these on every single pipe that penetrates the wall. And what that does, instead of any water being able to seep along the pipe to get out slowly, it makes it work a lot harder. It makes it go in and out. So yesterday evening, I put a router bit on and I basically made this have the same profile. So we'll vibrate the concrete, you know, tenaciously all the way around it, trying to get it to, you know, the pure to get into every one of these little grooves. And I mean, even if we're 90%, you know, penetrated into it, that's going to make that water, any water that ever got all the way 6 inches down here, now it can't just shoot across here and back out. It's got to work in and out, in and out. That's how these water stops work. So I did that little detail all the way around this. No idea if it was necessary. The engineers have never thought it was, but belt and suspenders, especially down here where we know we're going to get movement.
Okay, so we got the acrylic wall ready to go. It was very heavy. It took all 5 of us to get it up on the sawhorses, and we had already prepped the wall by notching out some of the web and putting a bolt through the bottom of it for it to set on. Since we got plywood backing the front and the back, it gave us a good sturdy place to set it. And we also had 2 blocks on either side already cut for the corners and notched to hold the acrylic. So I stood there and held the acrylic straight while they just grabbed them, snapped them in real quick, and then it really couldn't move after that. So not really a very difficult thing to get them set other than the weight.
Okay guys, you can see we've got the acrylic in here. It's that part that looks like cardboard. That's going to be the window that you can see from that vantage right there, right up into the pool. I'm sheeting the whole thing with plywood because while we probably don't need to, it's not that big, and there is absolutely nothing but our false work holding this entire pool up. The pucker factor's off the charts on this, so we're taking the time to sheet this whole thing and gain that little bit of bull truss action to where that wall doesn't try to sag at all. You know, we're bracing it all off sand, so I mean, there's no real perfect answer.
So after we got the acrylic wall side done, we went ahead and braced it up with the Zuckles, and we really didn't have a good option to go into the sand, so we actually stacked up 3 piling butts, screwed them together, and braced off of that.
Okay guys, real quick, I wanted to show you kind of what I'm talking about. The reason we're doing a monopore, it's what we do, but everybody down here up till now has been doing these fiberglass shells, and they're very, very small, like a big bathtub. They got to be freestanding. They can't be the normal fiberglass that you bury and you have to bury as you come up. But I want to show you that this pool's a year old. Can you see the sag in this deck? Yeah, right? It's a year-old pool and it's pushing down like that. But it's only got about 8 real pilings under it, and the rest is just deck. That's just sketchy, and it's not the way we'd want to do things. I mean, a hurricane could take us out anytime, I suppose. We built it as sturdy as you can build a house, and we're going to build the pool the same way. But we'll get into the budget of this, but we actually don't have more. I mean, that deck is expensive. That shell is 50 grand or more. Even the little ones, the freestanding ones, minimum. And I mean, they got $100,000 in that pool. And we're building, typically I tell people, you know, our monopore ICF pools, eco finish, whatever, you're in about the same as you are in gunite, real close. We got pilings and an engineer that we wouldn't have elsewhere. But otherwise, I'll take you over here and show you kind of the details of underneath this pool. And like I said, I shared the engineering with you a few videos ago. But yeah, it's been a good hard week so far. We're gonna pour next Wednesday. Should have a good video for you next week of that. And then the next video will be World of Concrete. So I'll take you under the pool right now and show you kind of the anatomy of everything going on right now. And I'll leave you to it. All right, guys. So I'm gonna show you guys kind of the underside, the inner workings that really make this pool probably the highest pucker factor pool I have done to date. Poured lots of light deck and poured lots of monopore pools, but I have not poured a monopore pool on light deck on pilings elevated above the ground. Because what you got to think about is all these 2x8s up here, they're all going to come down when we're done. That is all false work, and we're going to still have to put kickers coming down and a stiff back down the middle, because we're spanning just a little more than light deck wants to span. I think it would be fine, but we're really going to be pushing the envelope on a few things. And the big part is the walls out here. They're going to be holding up, 6 feet of concrete, 10 inches thick, on nothing but my work. The pilings will do all the work, and I have full faith in the engineers and everything once the concrete's cured. But when we're pouring, it is all going to be on false work that's going to be torn out. There will be nothing that's going to hold up this pour will remain. So it's all based on our carpentry and everything else. And I would lie if I didn't say that pucker factor is, it's not a 10, nothing ever is, but it's dang close. So anyway, right before the pour, I'll shoot again after we get all the false work done. Right now I'm going to take you up and kind of give you the anatomy of the inside of the pool, because hopefully by next week's video, we'll have a successful pour video to bring you right before we go to World of Concrete. Okay guys, so now we're inside the pool, and what we're going to have is right here on this steeper slope, you can actually see my cuts. These are stairs. I got to put some more caps in here to build it out to the dimension I want, but we're going to have an 8 3/4 inch stair to another 8 3/4 inch drop into a 4-foot tanning ledge where we'll be able to put a couple chairs, and then 4 more stairs that'll leave you into 4 feet of water. And it's going to slope till it's just about over your head to this end. The really cool part, as you see how the light deck, the engineer broke it up into small spans where we have concrete beams with a ton of reinforcement in them. But the really cool part of this one, we pulled the old trick out of our hat that we're actually going to World of Concrete to, show off that pool we did with the big acrylic wall. We have a 2-inch thick acrylic window right here, so as people walk by on the beach, they're going to be able to see right up in the pool. We're finishing it with a eco finish that looks like this color, so it's going to look real emerald. The water's going to be pretty cool. But this is it. It's just a rectangle. It's pretty simple, but it's nice, big, sturdy pool. Way better than the fiberglass bathtubs that you see all over this island, like I showed you earlier in the video. So yeah, this is it. I'm going to leave you guys with the sunset. I will see you next week.